Yep. Okay, all good, yeah? Okay. So, good evening, ladies and gentlemen. Good evening. Welcome to our channels, to all YBs in Malaysia, for those that are joining us in Singapore as well as around the world. As always, thank you so much for tuning in to our live channel on this beautiful Saturday night. It's actually raining in Singapore. I think KL is actually a hot evening tonight. Yeah. Please allow me to introduce myself. My name is Michael, and we have Howard over there. Howard.
Hello,
yeah.
everyone.
Hi, Howard. Okay. So we both will be your host for tonight. So what we have tonight is we are so blessed to have Mr. Lee, or many of us actually may know him as Harley. Yep. Okay. Harley started getting serious in photography in 2006. Initially, just like many of us, he tried out many genres like macro, landscape, sport, birding, human interest, travel, as well as portraiture. So Harley nowadays prefers travel photography, but when he was not traveling or he's not traveling, he shoot portraiture, especially costume portraiture. He extremely enjoyed editing in Photoshop, and he loved editing his work in artistic painting style. Yeah. So without further ado, please join me in welcoming Harley to share his beautiful work. Over to you, Harley.
Hi, everyone.
Hi.
Shall I start my sharing?
Yes, please. Yeah. Go ahead. So for those who have got questions, there are two ways of asking putting your questions. So one is through our chat, our chat box. You can actually type a question there. So me and Howard will monitor the chat box and we'll read out a question to Harley if there's any. Or secondly, if your question is very important, you may unmute yourself and interrupt. Yeah, during the presentation.
Okay. Let me share my screen.
Yep. You can see it.
Can see it, huh?
Yes.
Okay, good.
Actually, I love your profile picture, the orange jacket.
I can't see anything.
This was taken in New Zealand many years ago. That's why wearing jacket. It's cold there. Okay. First thing is good evening, everyone.
Good evening. Good
evening. Firstly, I'd like to thank Michael and Howard for inviting me to show my images and talk a bit about my images. And unless I forget, all my friends here, thank you for coming here and giving me support. Okay, my name is Harley, and I shall present my topic, digital photography editing. Editing from plain to interesting. Now, I shall explain why I think that we should do editing later on. Okay? So, Michael has already introduced me. So, I want to emphasize I'm 68 years young, not old.
Indeed, you are very young. Yeah.
And I think I'm one of the few old people who does editing. Normally, as Daryl said, the last meeting, he said normally old people don't like to do editing. So I want to show that.
You want to debunk him, yeah? You want to debunk him, that, no?
I said except you.
No. I meant it as a joke. I know you were talking in general. A lot of people, they are so scared of new technology. They dare not try. And they are, as you say, old school. They like to shoot, and then what is from the camera, that's it. They not do anything. Okay, go to the next slide. Okay, for tonight, I'll be talking on a few topics. Number one, I'll start with showing a few of my shots, some macro, birding, whatever lah. And then secondly, I'll do simple landscape before edit and after edit. So, and then the third one, I'll do a portraiture. A portraiture is closer to my style. In fact, my landscape editing is not that good. Then I'll show some slides of my favorite costume and conceptual portraiture, where I shot all this. And towards the last, I'll show a short video on subject selection and perspective transformation of the human subject. I find this to be interesting. I hope that you all can stay on until this video. So after that, there will be question and answers. Is that all right?
Yep, all good.
Okay, good.
Okay, first thing is I'll show some of my photos. Okay, as I said, I started in macro. Macro is the easiest because you take the camera, you just go out alone. Nobody to criticize you, you just shoot. Okay, this is a hoverfly. Hoverfly, point of interest, blending of the hoverfly with the yellow color flower. Next shot is also macro, gold robber fly. Normally, this gold line is a bit more rare. The normal one is the gray color. Okay, landscape. As I said, I travel quite frequently last time. Now, last 2 years, cannot go already. No more traveling. Anyway, this was in Xinjiang. Travel with Master Choong. Now, the point of interest is the sunset. And I remember when I went with Steve Chong to Yuanyang, the first time I joined Steve Chong in Yuanyang, we means my wife and I, we were shooting the rice fields, and suddenly the whole group will shout out, Yesu Kwang, Yesu Kwang. Then Sharon and I will look, stretch our head, what is this? Apa mereka cakap? Apa ni Yesu Kwang? Only later we found out it meant Jesus light. But because I don't know Mandarin, so I don't know what they are talking about. Yesu Kwang.
The holy light.
Holy light.
Holy light. I thought Yesu is Jesus. Okay, the next shot is in Patalong, fisherman. I shot in 2013. Now, the point of interest is that if you see the horizon, there's a near absence of horizon. The sky meets the sea with a very slight, and this is not an edited shot. This is real. The sky and the sea meet, but actually it's a lake. So it can only happen if, number one, your sea is not rough, very still, and there's a bit of mist around the horizon at the top layer of the lake. So I did some editing to remove some of the dirt. You know, sometimes there are some dirt floating on the sea. Okay, next shot, sports. Now, this is, last time we used to have Super GT in Sepang.
Yeah.
The point of interest is the flames at the exhaust. When they decelerate, then you have the pop, 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 all the flame coming out. Very interesting. And the second thing is the horizon is not horizontal. You know, I'm a bit obsessed with level horizon. I make sure all my photos must be level. But Sifu tell me if the car go upwards, it's more dynamic. And I used to go there with a heavy 500 lens in the hot sun. And then all the seafood laugh at me because I use monopod. They all use handheld only. So heavy. And then people ask me why I go so often. Anybody knows why I go so often? Anybody can answer?
Got many models.
Xi leng rồi à.
You all right.
No answers. Yeah.
Japan Super GT, every time they have what we call a pit walk. You can buy the pit walk, go down there to the pits where the cars are there, and all these so-called Japan Queen, all the umbrella girls will come in their sexy outfits. But that was those days. Now, after that they told them you all got to wear full outfit, not so sexy anymore. Okay. So next area of sports. I went to Pachu Chawi with Master Steve Choong and Ravindra Prakasa. This was in 2012. The excitement is when they run through the mud area, you have splashing all over, and then this is really a very dynamic shot. Dr. Chen won the World Press Photo Award in 2013, shot in 2012. He was standing beside me then, and he got the shot and he won the award. Congratulations to him. If you all have anything to say, you can just mention anything. Okay, next is so-called bird. I like to shoot birds in flight. It's quite challenging. This was a self-arranged trip to Langkawi. My wife and I and two colleagues, we rented a boat for 4, but not so lucky. It rained. Now you can see the rain here, but we managed to get a few good shots. Master printer Wesley Wong, he printed this out to me, and this is in my hall. Now it's framed in my hall. Okay, another bird shots. This one was a YL and Sony event in Putrajaya. I was waiting for this purple heron. He was perched there with the 2 black crows, and I was waiting for it to take off. So suddenly it took off, and then I used that time I was using Sony, so I burst, and I got a few shots. And this is actually a blending of 3 shots. A blending of 3 shots. I didn't take multiple, multiple shot in one. Okay, next one. This one is a blue-throated bee eater. We went to Kinabatangan River Cruise. I was with Kenchan then. Can you imagine we were sitting on the boat and it was moving and we have to handheld and try to shoot a steady shot of the bird. Now, I'd like to show this shot versus a lot of good shots. To me, a good bird shot is when you have a lot of details in the bird and no clutter. Your background is so nice. It blends in, it's blurry. This shot actually is not my shot. It's downloaded from internet just to show. Okay, next. Human interest. This is a travel trip to Patalong. I went with a group called Splinters Photography Group. The point of interest is that these two kids were hiding from the rain, sheltering from the rain, and one of the boy was holding a chicken. Luckily, it's not a cock. Otherwise, I'll be saying he's holding his. Okay, and the rain it's all set up. It's not real. This one was using water hose. So this is a setup shot, but the look of joy in the face of the children is, I think this is where the value of this shot comes in. Okay, human interest again, another human interest. This one I went with Sarawak, with Edwin Ong. I don't know whether you all know him. He's quite famous. He won a HIPA, Hamdan International Photography Award for his shot in North Vietnam. I was there with him. Sharon and I were with him. And he won that. So now the point of interest is, why did we shoot this shot without the face of the ring ladies? Now, because the Bidayu ring ladies, they are old and they are declining in numbers. I understand there are only 4 left in Sarawak. So the child is the future. Hopefully later on she will also wear ring. So the focus is on the ring, on the child with the rings around her. Okay, next shot, travel. I went again with the Splinters group to Patalong. This is a sunset shot with the Buddha statues. The point of interest is water reflection, reflecting the sunset on the floor. I think it's very nice. We were lucky to get a very good sunset. And sometimes I'll do something like this in the next slide. I'll put a girl there. This is edited. Actually, we really shot this girl, but in a previous shot and in a temple, and I selected her and put her inside just for fun.
Means this picture, this girl is shoot in different places.
Yeah, in the same trip, but we shot her the previous day in a temple.
Okay.
A Thai girl, and she was wearing the Thai uniform, the Thai costume.
Very nice.
Okay, next shot. Cormorant fisherman of Guilin. I went with Dr. Marcelian Tan. And again, in a way, you can say this is a setup shot because they are retired fishermen. And they always use their boat with the 2 cormorants, and they'll pose for tourists and photographers. Okay, next one, portraiture. This girl was shot in Kelly's castle. Her name is Nilari. I think she's a Persian girl. And Red Chong Sam girl with her hairdo, something like 1920s style, roaring 20s style hairdo. So this is the attraction, I think, is the red dress in Petaling Street. Okay, I'll now go on to a bit of landscape editing before and after. Any comments or questions along the way for the time being?
No.
No, okay. So my style when I shoot landscape, I firstly I shoot raw because anybody who wants to edit must shoot raw. When you try to edit JPEG, you don't get the same recovery. So I normally expose for the sky, let's say sunset or sunrise. I expose for the sky, and sometimes the foreground can be a bit dark. So this example, I expose for the sky. But normally what you can do is also you can use GND, a filter, so that you try to reduce the highlights here. Or sometimes you shoot in a bracket mode, either 3 or 5 shots, and you can use luminosity mask to this one. Anyway, just to show that this is what I shot, what I got, and I adjusted in Adobe Camera Raw. Adobe Camera Raw is like Lightroom. I adjusted exposure up by 1.95, highlights I reduced, shadows, I increase shadows so that it comes out, details come out, and blacks, I also increase the blacks so that details in the black also come out. And then the next step, I'll take it to Photoshop, and this is what I get. I use a few plugins, selective color adjustment layer, and added vibrance. So this one is a bit like HDR. Now I look back, maybe it's a bit overdone, but you can actually tune back. So I also use adjustment brush to reduce this because I think this is a bit distracting, but I couldn't get rid of it because it was there. Actually, I could have darkened it a bit. Okay, next shot, Patalong. This is what I shot. It was early in the morning, sunrise. And then by using Adobe Camera Raw, I increase exposure, contrast, highlights. Now in this case, you notice I did not increase the shadows because I want this to be silhouette. If I increase the shadows, then details will come out here, and I think it will spoil the shot. So after that, I went to Photoshop, and I use these plugins and Camera Raw filter. And just for fun, I added this fisherman in. This one was taken from another shot, but I so-called transferred him there. You see the before, he's not there. Okay. A lot of things are editing you can do.
Some question from mechanic lift. Asking can demo how to edit. And then Siwa Suda asking can edit Lightroom is suitable editing.
As I mentioned, Lightroom is exactly like Adobe Camera Raw.
For the first step.
For the first step.
Yeah.
But Lightroom cannot do things like adding layers, masking. Not to say cannot lah, but Photoshop you can do it so much easier, and you can create layers. And then there are a lot of features in Photoshop. There are thousands of features in Photoshop, and we actually don't really need all these features. We only need a few. So don't be scared with Photoshop. No, Photoshop. In fact, in Lightroom, you can click and go to Photoshop. And I think Photoshop is more powerful. You can select subjects. Later, I'm going to show how you select a subject using subject selection, and it's going to be very fast. 2 seconds, you will select the subject. Okay, I'll show you afterwards.
One more question from from JS Pure. That means Adobe Camera Raw is a shop software. Question. Yeah.
Sorry, Adobe Camera Raw.
Yes.
Okay, Adobe Camera Raw is a feature of Photoshop. When you shoot RAW, you open it up, your raw photo in Photoshop. The first thing you do is you go into Adobe Camera Raw. It's something like going into Lightroom, no? For you to do an initial edit to your this one. Then you click to open in Photoshop. So this Adobe Camera Raw is part of Photoshop.
Yeah.
Okay, whereas Lightroom is just something lesser than Photoshop, not as powerful. Okay. Any more?
No more.
Okay, I'll go to portraiture editing. Now, this girl, as I mentioned, the Persian or Iranian girl, I think I made a mistake. I set my white balance to cloudy, and then I get this shot. But when you shoot in RAW, you don't really care what is the white balance, because when you open your RAW file in Photoshop, it goes into Adobe Camera Raw, and you can change the white balance. And of course, you can do cleaning up of this one, do a bit of dodge and burn, and this is the after. So you can see before and after. Okay. My next shot. Okay, this one, I shot this in a studio. The theme was a forest fairy. The studio concept and makeup by a lady called Putri Yati. And unfortunately, I think that the backdrop was not big enough to cover all up, and perhaps should have used a black background so that her white wings will stand up. So this is the unedited version. So imagine if we have taken her out to shoot in mossy forest in the Cameron Highlands. I think that would be great. But of course, this studio is just nearby. Don't need to go so far. So cannot do that. So I will take her digitally to Cameron Highlands.
Digitally.
So what you have to do is you select the subject, copy to a new layer, and replace the background with the mossy forest. And then, of course, you have to get the color tone correct. I added shadows here so that it looks, with the light coming down, the shadow, so she looks like she belongs there. I added a bit of grass. Okay, next shot. This one, bridal shoot in Malacca, workshop by Michael Heng.
Michael Heng.
I think you all should know him. I think you should invite him to talk. And I love his editing, especially his color tone. Okay, you all notice anything about this photo? Anything you think needs to correct? Anybody? Okay.
And open mic and tell us.
This arrow shows you. I don't like this sticking out from her head. It looks like she's
Like a
wearing
horn.
horns. So to me, the first thing I look, tak boleh pakai lah. Have to edit already lah. So if I also don't quite like the white balance a bit. Need to change a bit. So I tried something new. So I used a patch tool to prune away the tree branches. And Photoshop is fantastic. You can use a color lookup table. You just click, you change the whole color tone for you. And there are thousands of color tones for you to choose. So it's up to you. In this case, I chose it like greenish, looking a bit like winter style. And then I even added a rim light on arms and her body just to simulate the flash from the left. So this is what I'll do. Okay. This one is a fashion show in KL. Those days, we used to go to all these malls to shoot a fashion show. And this one was by Triumph. They were trying to do Victoria's Secret style, with the wings, the girls with the wings.
The wing terbalik.
So I wanted to ask you already answered already. These wings look like they were fixed upside down. I think, those girls, they go in, change outfit, they have to come out very fast already. And sometimes they come out, the wings also fixed upside down. So again, just for fun, I decided to do something about it. I didn't put this, reverse it. I downloaded a new wing and added. Actually, it's a white wing. I changed the color to suit the outfit. And while I was doing it, I just lengthened the legs slightly. Okay. This one is an event with Master Kevin Pinadi, Indonesian. One of his workshops in Koma Tropical, Bukit Tinggi. This was in 2014. I think quite like so much details all around, everything is sharp. The subjects don't pop up, it doesn't stand out. A lot of distraction, and some joker also put a light reflector here, the umbrella. So I also don't like this. I also don't like this. Don't like this. So the lamp, okay. So I changed. I added textures. I added vignetting. When you add vignetting, your subject becomes the center of attraction. Everything, the surrounding all becomes darker a bit. And then I remove unwanted objects like, wires. There were some wires here, all these wires. Remove the wires. Umbrella, that umbrella just now I was telling you. Okay, the next one, again, workshop by Master Kevin Pinadi. The same girl, Nilari, in Taman Bukit Jalil. Anybody knows whereabouts in Taman Bukit Jalil? No, nobody has been to Taman Bukit Jalil. Okay, this is, there's a Chinese garden with the round moon gate. Okay, and they have a small pond. Nowadays no more water They I don't know. They don't put water and waterfall anymore. So this is a man-made waterfall and all that. So Master Kevin Pinardi. He actually I love his editing. You know, he's so good that even I try to copy him. I cannot, not even can get close to his editing. Anybody know Hokkien? This called Bi Bo En. You catch, you cannot catch his smoke. You cannot smell his smoke. Because he's so far away that you cannot even come near to him.
Yeah, can't even see the asap.
Can't even see the asap.
Mm.
And he's very good. So, as a joke, we asked this girl, hey, you go into the water and we shoot you. And then she really did. She surprised us and went down. So, after editing, as taught by Kemi Pinadi, we simulate like she's in a dark cave. So if you see this shot without seeing the before shot, the previous shot, you won't know where we shot this. You think it's some remote, some cave with some light shining down. And I replaced the waterfall a bit with the slow shutter speed, so that is the flow is smooth. Darken sides and corners. Now again, I keep saying, I always add with net to the picture, especially portraiture. In fact, anything you add with net, your main subject will pop up. So those people who complain, their lens are no good, got with net. You give to me, I take, never mind, because I don't have to add natural vignette. And I change the color tone using color balance adjustment layer. There are a lot of things you can do in Photoshop.
Yep.
Okay. Next. Okay. This model, I think she's quite a well-known model, Agnes Lim. She, for this event, she was wearing Chinese traditional dress. She does her own outfit, makeup, hairdo. I think this outfit you can buy on now. Anyway, so I decided to do a bit of editing. So I replaced the background with something like autumn background. Any blemish on, you can use a patch tool in Photoshop to remove any scars, blemishes, all this. And then you saturate, add background, autumn feel. So now she looks like she's in China during autumn. Sorry. Next one is costume and conceptual portraiture. Okay, this was shot in Kanching Falls, the event by the Lowen, led by a guy called Tengku Asri. I think he's quite well known now. And this one, I think they brought in one Indonesian model, this a local model, and outfits designed by Indonesian Aggie Jasmine. And then, sorry, we use two lights. I think also Kenchan was there too. I think Kenchan will know. He was one of the light provider. Okay, this is not my shot. This is a concept of photo by Kirsty Mitchell called Wonderland, where a girl was trying to pull a boat through the forest. So this group, the Delowen group, wanted to copy and reenact a similar image, but with a Malaysian style. So this is what we did. Actually, our Malaysian sampan. Okay. Okay, next shot. Middle East concept, something like a harem. This is a workshop by Filipino master Manny Ribordo, and a famous Filipina model, Karu.
This is so good.
Yeah, indeed.
Yeah, this one is during a workshop, so we can practice a lot of things during workshop. Okay, next one. This is a Flying Goddess theme, a concept by Master Kelvin Tan from Penang. He's very good. Location, we shot in Klebang, Sand Dunes, Malacca. And I decided to edit this slightly or change the background, not slightly, change the background. And this is what I got.
Wow.
So this post-process, we replace background to simulate, ancient, holy sort of theme, art style. Okay, next.
Harley, out of curiosity, the previous picture, how long do you normally take to transform from the original to the final artwork? How long would you normally take?
Okay, basically, first thing is
for this picture, yeah.
You have to look at the subject, and you have to extract your subject from the background. You have to remove her from the background. I'm going to show later on in the video how I extract a subject out from the picture, from the background. So you extract, and then you have to look what background will fit this image. You just can't put any background. You can't put KL Tower inside there. It doesn't suit. It doesn't look like it could in the city. So I will Google, I will search for some nice background, something to suit the occasions, and then a little bit of editing where you have all this flying, all this you add in so that it looks nice. It looks I don't know how to describe it. It looks artistic style. So how long I take to do this? It depends. Now, if your subject is there's no free hair. Example, this it's very easy to select because use the subject selection. You can practically do most of it already. Like here, there's not much, but this will be a problem. All these details will be a problem. You have to clean up, manually clean up. So,
Andy, question from Andy Chow. He asking, do you use digital pen or just with a mouse to edit to Photoshop?
Okay, most of the time I use mouse, but when I do need to do painting, when I need to brush in, I will use my this pad already. So depending, but about 90% I'm using mouse. Actually, it's faster. But then the digital pad will give you more accuracy when you're painting. Okay. Okay, next shot. Dancing on the rooftop. This Marilyn Monroe tip. We took her up to a building at the rooftop. This is a flat part. And then we added 2 strokes with red and blue gels, thanks to Ken Chan and CK Figuera. We were up there. Don't worry, it's quite safe. There's actually a safety barrier. So she's not going to dance out into the... It's quite high up. Now the design and concept, later you will see that she is also in some of my other shots. This by Faiza Alexandra, and the model and makeup is by Fifi. So we are trying to do Marilyn Monroe. Okay, next shot. Indian Peacock Princess. Look, we shot in Penang. This is near the Botanical Gardens. Again, concept and outfit by Faiza Alexandra. Very nice, Indian peacock dress. And model makeup, Fifi. And again, strokes by Kenchan and CK Figuera. This background is real. I never replaced the background. So it's really there in Penang. So you see, normally color, magenta and green, they contrast, but they complement each other. The kancil is not real, added in. Okay, this one is a travel workshop by Masters Kevin Kinadi and Ravindra Prakasha. You see, I keep mentioning these names. They are my sequels. Okay, I want to show this shot. I don't know where we went. I've forgotten this place. Somewhere in Rawang or what. So this concept is this girl is wearing like a hijab, the Muslim dress, and she's standing there. So what do I do with this? What shall I do with this shot? So I change it from plain to interesting. Now, you again, the concept by Faiza Alexander, and she's very creative, and even a hijab can be fashionable. Now, I want to spend a bit of time on this. This is before, this is after. Now, you look carefully. I was shooting at this girl at eye level. I was standing up, put my camera to my eye and shoot. So my eye and her eye probably about same level. So when you shoot like this, the horizon is around here. Now, what happens here? The horizon is about model's head level. Now, if I were to bend down and shoot upwards at her, if I squat and shoot from low angle upwards, I will get something like this. Okay, but I didn't. So what do I do? Now I have this subject. How do I transform her to here? You know, when you shoot upwards, the horizon will come down. Because you're shooting up, you see more sky already, right?
Yeah.
So after edit, the horizon is about knee level already. So you all want to know how the model was transformed? So I shall show a video on subject selection and perspective transformation in PS. PS is Photoshop. Okay. Note that in Photoshop, the latest Photoshop, subject selection is very fast. About 2, maybe depending on your computer, but 2 seconds to 4 seconds at the most. Then after that, you have to tidy up a bit only. That's all. And then this perspective transformation for human subjects is my own style. I have not seen any people use this, but I don't want to claim that it's mine. So I shall show a short video on this. The sound is a bit soft.
Use a quick selection tool. And click select subject at the top.
Here. See, he has already selected,
A bit level.
except here.
Head in.
Add in here. Now you zoom in. It has also included this space which we have to subtract away.
Use the polygonal lasso tool.
You have to select the subtract subject one, negative. And then I slowly subtract away.
Okay. So now we have selected the subject. Press Ctrl J.
2 seconds, I selected.
Now we have created a new layer with the subject. Press Ctrl J because I want to transform this layer. Press Ctrl or transform. Inside the layer, right click and select perspective. Pull the corner in.
No taller already.
The vertically by the center and click OK. So now you have the before and you have the after. That's it. Thank you.
So you can see that when you select the subject, earlier I showed that you select subject 2 seconds. I keep saying 2 seconds. And then when you Control J, you paste it to a new layer. Only the subject is copied to a new layer. So now you have blank area here. So this is your new layer with your new subject after you transform her. Can you imagine now I bring in the desert and put it one layer below this layer. Below this layer, I put the desert scene inside, and I will get like what I got in the previous. So this is the subject transformation I was talking about. Okay. Any questions on this?
Got from mechanic lift. Got any PS tutorial? And then is this function that you showed just now is available at the PS 2021?
Yeah. This you see, this selection, Control T. When I say Control T, I have this new layer. I have the previous layer. I Control T means I select and say that I want to transform that subject, and then after that I click perspective. I pull the corner in. You pull it so you see the head becomes smaller and the girl becomes like taller. So this is available in Photoshop. It's one of the most easiest to use. That's why I can show it.
The basic function, suppose.
Yes, it's a basic function.
Okay.
Yeah.
And then second question from Andy Chow. I find that your color are well blended. Do you use Pro monitor or calibrated monitor? Any recommendation?
Okay, I'm actually using a BenQ monitor. BenQ is one of the cheaper models compared to the higher end ones. 27-inch monitor, and I calibrate my monitor every 6 months.
Every 6 months.
Okay.
Okay.
Shall I proceed?
Yes, can continue.
Okay.
Yeah.
So in the next slide, I want to show you an example of how I see original shot and what I think I want to do, what I want to edit. Okay. So this is a shot we shot again during some workshop. To me, this is quite plain. And then this, after editing, this is more interesting. Now, in the original, I usually look for things I want to edit. So I get this shot. What do I want to edit? Number one, I think the red shoes are too distracting. So I change it to pink.
Okay.
The background around her waist is too bright, So I change it to darker to follow this darkness. Okay. There are dark areas in the face. Let me zoom in. You see, there are some dark areas in the face. I don't know what happened. So straight away, I know I want to edit this. So I edit until here. Now, the floor is too bright. In any photos or any image, it's always the white or the bright areas which takes your attention. So looking at this photo, I know straight away I have to darken the floor. And then you look at the background around her head. It's too dark. There's no separation between the background and her hair. So I will edit until I get something like that. Then her head pops up. It's next. I will also liquefy the body a bit. Normally, I will bring in the belly in a bit. I'll make her more attractive here, slightly. And this one optional. To me, when I look at this photo, her skirt looks like hanging halfway. So I lengthen the skirt a bit. So these are the things I will do. Then again, I add vignette around her so that she becomes the center of attraction to pop up. Okay, these are the things I do. So I think these are the last of my slide. But yeah.
Ali, question from Jana Rudina.
Hi, Jana.
The shot are natural lighting or not?
This shot.
Yeah, this shot.
Okay, this is shot in Penang. This shot in Penang. Natural lighting, no external strobes. I have a tendency to carry a flash. Sometimes I will shoot flash to fill in. But in this case, probably I didn't shoot flash. It's natural lighting.
Good. Any others question? From mechanic Leaf, can arrange one more section on how to edit.
Editing. Actually, I was quite worried to do Photoshop online, because I don't know whether my computer can take it or not. Because the last time I was attending some Zoom sessions, I was also editing on the side while listening to what they were talking. I did some editing, and then I found out the Zoom session hang. So I I don't think. I mean, we can try, but I don't think it's that easy to do editing online. But actually, I can do editing, save it as a video, and then playback from here. Playing back video is easier.
Yes.
I don't think it hangs. But Photoshop takes a lot of resources. You
Yeah.
know, when you do Photoshop, you try to do other things. Sometimes your computer hang. Maybe it's time for me to upgrade my computer. Can I? I'm asking my wife. Can I?
Minister of Finance.
My wife say no problem.
And then JS Joe got Harley got a YouTube channel or not?
Okay, I recently posted 1 or 2 photos, videos of editing, and actually I intend to do a bit more. I intend to do it a bit more. So hopefully in the future I'll do some more and then share with all our Facebook people.
Yeah, good. Can share the Yellowboots group that everyone.
Yeah, a good idea. So
can.
it's a pity we can't meet already because, very frankly, you want to learn Photoshop, videos help lah, but actually in person is the best. You learn in person how to do.
Yeah.
So that brings me to what my tips for those who want to learn editing. So can I proceed or any more questions?
And more? Continue. Yeah.
Okay. So number one, I want to emphasize, photo editing is not difficult. If a 68-year-old or 68 young guy can do it, I'm sure all of you guys, okay? You just need a bit of help. So the second thing I want to tell you is get a friend for those beginners to help you basic editing. Number one, in fact, a lot of people, they don't know how to start because why? You click open Photoshop and then you look, then don't know where to do it, So first thing is you to have to set up your Photoshop program correctly. You put this here, put that here, arrange this, do the setting all correct. First step is done, then you can proceed. And then you must, if you have a friend, you say, hey, I want to do this, how do I do it? Then you slowly go step by step. Because there are a lot of, like in the video I show, I tell you Control T, Control J, all these are shortcuts. Actually, it's all in the menu one. But no, once you're familiar, then you use shortcut lah. And then the third thing is I want to advise people who are really keen to learn. You attend workshops. There are local sifus like Michael Hay. I think he's conducting some Photoshop online also. Ray Chow is very good on landscape and things like the Milky Way and all that. Kenwin Tan also very good. He's in Penang, and there are many others. So then, if you can, try to go overseas, follow people like Manny Librodo, Kevin Pinadi, Rarindra Pakasa. There are many, a lot more, plenty. And some you can also arrange to come to Malaysia. So I think you have to, you see, we spend so much money on gears, camera, lens, all these, but we never spend money on editing. That's, I don't know, maybe too up. You see, I started off because I joined all these people. I joined workshop to learn. So that's why I do editing. And then YouTube, there are plenty of all these lessons. But you must know the basic first. Then YouTube, they have specific areas what you want to do. This guy, Umesh Dinda, Fix Imperfect. I think he's one of the best because he explained to you step by step. Even you don't know, also, he'll teach you.
I follow him for years. He's very good.
Very good, huh? Yes.
Yeah.
Me too.
Who's that? Cindy, yeah.
Cindy.
Yeah.
Yeah.
YouTube.
YouTube, huh? Yes.
YouTube.
To me, he's one of the best.
Wow.
I have a suggestion. I think people that is beginner, maybe you should learn the Camera Raw or the Lightroom first.
Lightroom, yeah.
Because I think it's very important for you to get hold of the knowledge of to control your brightness and the darkness and the color of your photo first before you start to learn other tools and like those layers. Because when you start, from the first day you start to jump into Photoshop, you will confuse yourself more. So start with the basic first. I mean, for a photo, the basic I think will be the colors and the brightness and the darkness. I think that supposed to be the things that you need to know first before you go to all this cut and paste thing.
Yeah, I agree with you. Especially, let's say landscape. Landscape, you can do a lot of things in Lightroom or Adobe Camera Raw. Actually, they are both the same, except that the layout is slightly different. You can adjust a lot of things, and then you can do selective brushing. You see, if you change some sliders in, say, Lightroom or Adobe Camera Raw, you are changing it globally. That means all over. If I increase exposure, everything brightens up. If I increase shadows, then all details from the shadows come out. But you can use a brush in Adobe Camera Raw and Lightroom, brush those areas you want to change. That is called selective brushing. And then you make adjustment, and it only applies to that area which you brush. So, in fact, you can do a lot of things. I would say even 80 to 90% already in Lightroom or Adobe Camera Raw.
Maybe I can just rephrase. Probably Lightroom is a good general, generic editing tool, but with more refined tuning, you probably need PS. I think that's the overall statement. For more advanced editing, you probably need PS. For generic Lightroom, in most cases, it will be more than enough. I think that's what you guys are trying to point.
As an example, if you want to select the subject and take her out and put in another background, you cannot do that in Lightroom.
True, I understand. Yeah, advanced for fine tuning and advanced functions, probably PS is better.
Yeah. Can Chuck want to say something?
Nowadays, there's another tool that is called Lumina AI. That one is also very powerful,
Oh, yes.
You can change
the sky replacement thing.
You can sky replacement.
you come God lah.
One click out.
Any more photos? I want to see the mechanic.
Michael, maybe you should try now.
Michael want to see the mechanic. Michael, this if I show you here, then Facebook will ban this video.
It's okay. I'm 3 years older than you. I'm the uncle, right? So uncle seniority, so I can have the mechanic.
For example, you see here, Daniel. Daniel is also very good.
A lot of hidden dragons here lah. All keep quiet lah. All that blur, don't know that beginner can come and see, right?
Actually, there are a lot of seafood here lah. They accept that they don't want to show their skill only.
Seafood also want to learn something new, see what is the texture.
Yeah.
Sharing is helping them together.
But very frankly lah, when I do editing, see my mood. No. Today I edit, maybe I do this style. Tomorrow I edit, maybe another style. Like certain photos I edited 5-6 years ago. I go back, I don't know how to edit. I cannot edit the same style.
Have to follow the current mood.
See your mood. No. Sometimes no mood. I click start only, then I shut off already.
Michael?
Yeah, guys, any more questions for Master Harley? Since he's online.
No,
we have another 10 more minutes. Yeah.
Don't say master lah. Can't lah.
Yeah. It's really good work. Harley, do you normally create your own preset, in Photoshop, or your own action?
Okay, there are a lot of basic things which you always do, and you keep repeating one.
Yeah, of course. Yeah.
I create my own action to reduce the size of the photo and save as a JPEG at a certain resolution. For Facebook, you want to save it that size so that in Facebook it looks the best in Facebook. So I create actions like this. I also create actions like dodge and burn. So I create that action. It does what I do is using curves. So you have one curve for dodge, one curve for burn. But you create that, and then you have to brush again which area you want to dodge, which area you want to burn. So all this you have to do. But I click that action, pop, it starts dodge and burn curve layer. Then I just brush on the mask area to show whether this one I want to dodge or this one I want to burn. And what I'm saying is things which you keep on doing you save as your action. And then I also download certain settings, presets by other people. Once in a while I use, depending what I want to do.
So do you create your own preset, like the color preset, the effects, and something?
No, I have download other people's one, but I don't create my own. And then, as I mentioned earlier, there's what we call color lookup. Again, depending on my mood, I click, try this color. Hey, nice, huh? Then I use all. So it's one click only, you change the color tone.
Yeah.
Okay, thank you. Yeah. In your opinions, what do you think that a picture that is over edited? Someone says that a particular picture is over edited. In your opinion, how you classify that? A picture that is over edited.
Okay, if it's over edited, it will look a bit unnatural. I am also guilty of that. Sometimes I oversaturate my pictures. But I want to say one thing. Have you guys have this, you go and shoot let's say a sunset. You know, I've traveled a few times with Steve Choong. I shoot the sunset in Yanjiang, and it comes out, the sunset is so beautiful. So I take a shot, and then I look at the screen for feedback. Hey, how come what I see and what the camera shoot that's not the same one,
different
not as
things.
nice. You know why not? Our eyes got 21 stops. We can see up to 21 stops, whereas the camera can only take about, the good cameras can take about 15 stops. So when we look at the sunset or sunrise, wow, the sky is so nice, so colorful. Then you look at the foreground, wow, it's so nice, Then you shoot, bloody hell, the sky is nice, but the foreground not nice. So, underexposed. So I expose it a bit. Oh, the foreground nice, the sky blue already. And then have you had a case where you shoot, you should take a shot, you look at your screen, then you look at your neighbor, on the tripod, you look at their screen, different color. Oh, because he or she is using Sony, I'm using Canon. Then I look to the right. Oh, different one. This one use Fujifilm. Oh, but Fujifilm one nicer. Actually, I like Fujifilm colors.
So means all different brands have their own different kind of color.
Their white balance different. So number one, what you see and what you shoot is different. Number two, what you shoot and what he and she shoot are different. Why? So because of that, go back. I wish we all have photographic eye. Our eyes take a shot, go back and edit. I want it to be as what I see. But we know you cannot. I go back, sometimes I do, over edited, really, over saturated. But I think this is what I saw.
Harley,
you remind me about.
Harley,
go ahead.
This one, like last time, the last live that I shared. So no Photoshop is very important. So at least I'm saying not 100%, but at least, right, when you look at your viewfinder and you see that the photo is not what your eye see, right, at least you know that the photo can help you to do it, you know. But if you don't know Photoshop, then it's kind of hard. But if you know, then you at least you know that, although the photo in your viewfinder is different from what your eye see, but at least you go back home, right, you can enhance, nearer to what your eye can see.
Correct. I just mentioned that somebody Sifu who shot and then people ask him, do you edit your photos? And then he answered, if you do not edit your photos, you are a half-baked photographer.
Half-baked.
Half-baked. It means you're half-cooked only.
Half-cooked.
Because why? The camera is for you to compose and set it such that you get as accurate as you can to what you see. Okay? But you know that you will never get as what you see in camera. You will never get. They haven't invented a camera which is as good as your eye. So after that, you go back, you need to edit it, change it. So the trouble is, there are a lot of, as Daryl mentioned, a lot of old timers who don't believe in editing, because you need to edit so that you can present it for your media, which can be either Facebook or in print. You need to edit. Otherwise, even you print it out, it doesn't look good. No? It doesn't look as good.
It's all relative, actually, because when you use Photoshop, you've got to have the time to do it. So it depends on what you're photographing. You know, such as in sports photography, you know, if you're in media, they want photographs straight away. You've got no time to do Photoshop or anything. It's straight out of your camera, maybe with a bit of cropping and a couple of seconds to do something, and that's it.
That's where Lightrooms come.
So it's just really relative, depending on what you're actually photographing.
Yeah, you're right, Michael. I'm talking not as a journalist and not as those press people where you need to quickly send your photos for press release. So I'm talking for shock scenery, you know, as a hobbyist that I want to try to get a better looking image. If I'm a journalist, I don't bloody care about Photoshop or editing. I need to send my photos for the press as quick as I can. So, and then I won't add a human subject in when it's not there also, you know?
Yeah, yeah.
So when you've got two seafoods in one household, right, you and Sharon, do you have arguments about photos and about the way to edit and things like that?
Sharon is beside me, so I got to say very a bit sensitive. Okay, she has her style, I have my style. Okay, and very frankly, some of the photos she shoot, she's also like me, you know. She likes to edit one. She don't post any photo without editing. Okay, so but the way she edit and the way I edit are two different styles. But I'm lucky that I have a wife who follows me to go travel, go and shoot. I go and shoot birds, she go and shoot birds also. We shoot landscape, you know, we go together and shoot. So that way, it's easy for me. I don't have to tell my wife, hey, lying or not? Are you sure? Are you going?
This is what you call being blessed.
Yeah.
Being blessed.
So, any more questions?
Any more questions, guys? Okay, I have one last question for Harley. Yeah. What is your view about people using filter? I'm not talking about landscape filter. We are talking about those Instagram filter or Facebook filter or those ready-made filter. So yeah, what is your view compared versus to like we have to spend time in Photoshop, we have to spend time in Lightrooms. Why not we just use filter?
Okay, my personal opinion. I have traveled. I brought along filters. I bought some from Howard also. Some of the filters.
Michael means the filter is not the glass filter.
Not the glass filter. We are talking about those ready-made software filter. Yeah.
Software filter. That type
software.
Yeah.
If you ask me as far as those software filter, whatever you want to do, it doesn't matter to me. The final result is what you get. That is important. So, for example, you shoot with Lumina AI. There are a lot of filters inside there. You get very nice photo. So what? To me, I'm happy that you get good photos. So even let's say even in our phone, Snapseed, you can get very nice editing done on Snapseed.
That's correct. Yeah. And they have made two and some other apps that actually produce a very quick photos. Yeah.
Yeah. So very frankly, editing depending on my mood. Some photos I make take hours, and one or two I make take days to edit. And some photos I take 4 or 5 minutes and finish. That's it, done already. depending on my mood and depending on what needs to be done.
So basically, we need to ask Sharon to make sure that your mood is good so that we have all these nice photos every day to look forward to in this pandemic when we're locked up at home.
I think Sharon and I, we are in sync in terms of editing. We both agree that we must edit our photos so that it looks good to ourselves, we are happy with, and hopefully it looks good to other people.
And
Sorry?
And Ali, I think editing is part of the fun also, right?
Yeah. Okay, very frankly, I started in 2006, photograph, taking with my first photography, my first camera. You know why I buy the camera? No? Because I learned, wow, you can do editing. No? Last time, in in the film days, I shoot, then I have to wait days, send to the people, the dark room, for them to develop and return to me, and then come back. Cannot use this photo. That's all. And then now I learn, you can do your own editing already. You don't have to rely on these buggers to edit your photo for you. So, so to me, 90% of my photography is editing. For me, for me, other people may feel differently. Sorry. Yeah.
Right.
Okay.
Some more questions. I think if no more questions, then I think we will end the session for tonight. So on behalf of YB, thanks so much for Master Lee for sharing your beautiful work with us. I would say that you are very, very creative, very, very imaginative, and we believe many of us in YB's learned something tonight. Yeah. Thank you. Thank you, Ali.
Thank you. Thank you all for coming and support.
And thank you the rest. Have a good evening. Have a good weekend. Thank you.
Everyone.
Thank you, Ali.
Thank you,
Hari.
Bye.
Thank you, everybody. Thank you all, my friends.
Thank you.
Bye, Jana.
Bye. Working at home.
Wow, Aaron Kok also here. Orange Xiao also here. Asaha. Albert Low.
Yeah, Albert Low.
Andy Lau also. Okay, I'm going off.